Good evening. Lovely evening here in County Meath, in Old Castle, County Meath. It's just a bit of a light at the horizon there. The light of God, as I often call it. And it was a lovely day. Had a lovely walk this morning, looking at the cows grazing and the tranquility about the place. It's a lovely place for walk, and this is in the edge of the town where I happen to live. Near the town, I can see the spire, the church, etc., and I can walk into it if I wish to walk. But I prefer to walk along where people use this particular road for walking. But I walked this morning and I met a couple of people and some busy at the time of day and a bit of a chat. Not much of a chat, but sometimes a little bit. And other ones just seem to be in some other whatever confusion they're in. They're not able to talk. So they're going about it, or what sort of lives they lead. The conversation has eluded them. But be that as it may, I'm talking about people going to work. Um, there's all sorts of occupations that people can be in. They can be in an occupation where the colleagues are friendly and the boss has respect for his employees, because that is the only way to run any business. Respect for the employees, because they're the ones that make the business. Doesn't matter what sort of a business it is, if it's a factory or a business or a supermarket, whatever. People have often supermarkets have to work shift hours and awkward hours, and it's a tough job because you're dealing with the public, and sometimes the public there are hard to please, and you're on your feet a lot of the time. It's nice to sit down. Then some people are looking at a at a screen all day, and my friend's daughter has got a little back problem from being on the computer and perhaps not sitting down in a proper way in a proper chair. So she's had to go to and she's a very fit girl. She had to go to a physiotherapist to get some exercises. She's improved and she's had to get a different chair and adopt a different attitude. When you're doing using a laptop or anything like that, I think you need to get up every so often and walk about, because otherwise you might get a bad back. Very easy to get a bad back. You have to be very careful. Some people that played football in their time got bad backs, and it comes at them in later life. They often get bad feet, and it comes after them. But be that as it may, we're talking about people going to work. So when you're going to work, irrespective of where you're working, whether you have uh, good colleagues or some that are not so good, that are cut your throat as quick as look at you, and maybe where you have a boss that doesn't appreciate the efforts that people make. Nonetheless, be glad that you have a job. That's number one. And ignore them. Pray for them. That's the great solution. Then you'd have no business. They have it. Uh, uh, don't let any of these crosses that you encounter in life. We all come across crosses. Don't be bothered about them. Say a prayer, bless yourself, and say a silent prayer to yourself. God help them to you. Have pity on them, because they're lost in some ways. And if you're doing things that kind of half right, no matter what sort of a person you are, male or female or what have you, when you're doing that, you're happy enough. And stop gawking in the mirror if you're a female, gawking at yourself and trying to keep up the fashion. Dress properly. I notice nowadays a lot of men don't dress properly. They don't know the meaning of the word dressing properly. But lucky enough, in my time, you did dress properly, and it stuck to me. So I can't go anywhere without a tie and dressing properly. A lot of people don't dress like that. They often look as if they're going to perhaps fix a card or wearing dungarees or whatever you like to call it. Very casual. But the women dress much better, and especially when they're going to mass or church or that. But that's just an aside. We're talking about work. So when you're going to work, generally speaking, you have to be togged out some way. It depends on what sort of work. I know, in some people that I used to do business with when I was working for myself, on a Friday they did what they call dumb down. So all the office staff and all the rest were dressed like as if they were perhaps going to fix a car or something. Now I don't think much of that carry on. I think clothes make it the person, clothes make it the man. And so, if you've got full respect for yourself, then you're going to dress accordingly, I think. But if everybody else in your particular age group are dressing in this casual way, you don't want to be different, perhaps. But in my time, they were all dressed the way I'm dressed now, and I dressed like that all the time. And on a Sunday, I put on a good suit, show respect for when I'm going to Mass. If I go to Mass, the vigil Mass, it might be a bit different, but certainly on the Sunday, I put on my suits that I put on. I have not chartered suits. My wife was a great sort of person for buying suits, so she always had me well talked out, and I was well talked out, thank God. And she bought all my toys. I have plenty of toys, and she had good taste. She had good taste for herself, and she had good taste for me. So, a little blessing that you get as you go through life to be able to cope with the difficulties that come along, and they do come along. Like, you can't beat them. You're going to have crosses. So, what I'm saying is, say a few prayers, whether you, no matter what you are, because you were made in the image and likeness of God, and He loves you, even if nobody else does. He loves you, and our Blessed Mother loves you, because Jesus gave us our Blessed Mother from the cross when He said to His Blessed Mother, "Mother, behold thy son," said to say John the Apostle, "Son, behold thy mother." That gave us the great honour to call Mary our Saviour's mother, our mother. What a lovely mother to have. So, if you've been unfortunate to have maybe not great parents during your life, you have those. So don't be worried about anything like that. Don't live in the past. Live today. Today is a great gift, and make the most of it for your good. And don't get yourself involved with anything peculiar. Do things right. Don't get involved with anything that's from the evil one, because he'll be very hard to get out of his clutches. He's all powerful. So try and protect yourself. Have a cross in the house, cross of our Saviour, and maybe a statue of the Sacred Heart and things like that. I have these in this house, holy water and all the rest of it. So I'm just saying that to you as you're going to work, no matter what you're making, whatever sort of a job you have, whether it's tough, physical or mentally or whatever it is, just take it in your stride and give yourself a break, whatever it is. Don't just be stuck at it because you're supposed to, and all the rest of it. Some companies are put too much stress on people, and their lives and their health suffer as a result. So your health is more important than anything. And if you're too much being imposed on you wherever you work, think about a solution, and then go for somewhere else where it might be more suitable. You don't always have to stick in a situation that's causing you trouble. If supposing you're married and you have a spouse that you thought was all right, suddenly be to hit the side of you or do something, and vice versa, whatever it is, and you're doing your best, and there's no reason for this, but you never know what you're going to meet. I've come across it myself in life, and I know a little bit about all these things. So you've got to count your blessings, and the fact is that you were made in the image and likeness of God. That's a blessing. Let that be in your mind. No matter whether you're a boy or a girl, doesn't matter. You're made in the image and likeness of God. You're special. There's nobody like you before or since. You're unique, and you're loved by God. Think of that. And you're loved by your Blessed Mother. Saints in paradise. They wish you to get to heaven. So try and go along with it. It's simple enough, isn't it? Okay, I'll say good night and sleep well, and say a prayer as you go to bed. Bless yourself. Won't do you any harm, will it? In the Father and the Son, Spirit of Man. Good night now, and sleep tight, and don't let the fleas bite. Thank you.